Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Lynn with openagenda.wtf, where the WTF stands for with the facts. Welcome back today. I'm going to revisit our conversation about the Colorado voter rolls, things going on with our election, password breaches, etc., and specifically talk about the leadership and the decisions made by Jenna Griswold, our Secretary of State. We're going to be looking at documented facts, asking good questions, and looking for accountability from the people in Colorado that are responsible for keeping our elections fair and safe. When critical election passwords end up online, not once, but several times, we should all care, no matter what our political leanings. So let's talk about what has happened, what doesn't add up, and what questions we can be asking here in Colorado. The job of Secretary of State used to be kind of a quiet administrative position. Jenna Griswold was signed into office in January of 2019. And suddenly the office became a national lightning rod. It seems like Jenna Griswold embraced the spotlight, appearing regularly on cable news, positioning herself as a national figure, pushing back against Donald Trump. And the question is, does her defining into a partisan voice help Colorado's trust in elections, or does it further divide Democrats, Republican, and independent voters? Local county clerks who actually run Colorado's elections have been saying that her appearances make their job harder. They feel she might be politicizing the office instead of calming tensions. And that's a fair question to ask. Should top election officials in the state act as administrators or a political celebrity? Let's talk about the 2019 voting law changes that Griswold pushed through. These included more voting centers, more drop boxes, and expanding automatic voter registrations. Sounds good on paper until you hear what county clerks are saying. They are definitely questioning, why are we spending money expanding in-person voting when 95% of Coloradoans vote by mail? Why are we expanding automatic voter registration? And are we really trying to solve problems that occur in other states? Not really in Colorado. So the big question is, were these reforms that were supposed to improve Colorado's system do anything to really improve the system or promote a national political narrative? Then we need to talk about the Mesa County controversy. This was when Tina Peters was the clerk in Mesa County, Grand Junction, Colorado. And passwords from the election equipment appeared on an election conspiracy website. Griswold quickly decertified the county's machines and accused Tina Peters of allowing an insider breach. Griswold called it a serious national security breach, but then she turned around and also said it creates no risk to the election. So which is it, serious or harmless? Because now Tina Peters is serving time because of what happened with the passwords at that time. Another odd detail was Jenna Griswold sent investigators into the Mesa County office with a search warrant, but would not allow the deputy clerk to observe the investigation process. Why? Transparency should be a priority, especially in investigations like this, especially when Tina Peters is showing up in the news. So the next part of this is crucial. In 2024, after Tina Peters left, hundreds of passwords to Colorado's voting equipment, including at least one full password, were posted online for months on Secretary Griswold's own website. This wasn't Mesa County, it wasn't Tina Peters, and it wasn't a conspiracy theory. This was the Secretary of State's own office. County clerks were not told. In fact, many learned about the leak from the media or the Colorado GOP. Griswold later said she regretted that the clerks weren't notified. But here's the issue. Regret doesn't fix a breach. There was also a claim that the 2 passwords were required to access or change the settings, but that is not true. The leaked passwords alone could have allowed a bad actor or a bad system to enter our system settings. If clerks are responsible for protecting elections, shouldn't they have been notified immediately? These leaks prompted the Libertarian Party to file a lawsuit the day before the 2024 elections. The fact that this happened just before elections, a national and federal election year, was frightening. And a judge ultimately denied the request to shut down these voter machines, vote counting machines, I think is what they were. Basically, the judge denied the request, saying the state had other security measures in place. This may be true, but it still doesn't answer the deeper question: how did the passwords get posted publicly in the first place? And where was the investigation? Again, Jenna Griswold ran an investigation on this, but it was her own internal investigation. They say Colorado has one of the most secure election systems in the country, but that system is only as strong as the people that are running it. So here's where this pattern of breaches and inappropriate information gets even more concerning. Do you remember when in Jenna Griswold's department 30,000 voter registration postcards were mailed to non-citizens? Do you remember when ballot reminders were sent to people who had already voted, creating a lot of confusion for clerks? And now it kind of seems reasonable that federal lawsuits would be looking to audit this voting system based on all these breaches and mistakes. The DOJ is pressing for access to voter data due to all these compliance concerns. And that data needs to include driver's license, last name, last 4 of social. Those are the things that are going to help the federal government audit what is going on with our voter rolls here in Colorado. You can't run a secure election system without trust. You can't manage thousands of unconnected voting systems if clerks are uninformed. And you can't demand accountability from counting from counties while avoiding accountability at the state level. That is the big issue for me. With Tina Peters looking at doing prison time, why is Jenna Griswold not looking at prison time? The point of this video isn't really to stir up division, though. It is to ask reasonable, necessary questions. Election integrity is not a partisan issue. It is a shared goal for all American patriots who value their vote. So let me leave you with this. Should any Secretary of State, Democrat or Republican, be political? Should Colorado accept repeated errors, security gaps, and a pattern of mistakes in our voting system? And what possible reason can our Colorado officials have for not wanting to share our voter rolls and records? If you believe election security matters, stay informed. Ask questions. This is a big issue and it's happening right now. Make your voice heard. I suggest writing to Governor Polis or to Jenna Griswold, who's pretty easy to reach by email, and suggesting that we think it's important that Colorado's voter logs and rolls can be audited by the federal government. Thank you so much for joining me. And please do like, subscribe, share, leave comments. We're always looking for the perspectives of other folks in Colorado and around the nation, and we appreciate your participation. Remember, pay attention, because if you're not paying attention, somebody else is going to be writing the rules. Thanks for your time.